Hello, bushy rose bloomin' babes. How are you all today? Today I'm so excited. I'm going to be making a garden inspired bouquet. They're kind of all the rage. And back in 2020 in the COVID quarantine time, I was inspired by a heartbreak and downtime to grow some flowers and to create a cut flower garden. My business started off doing flower workshops. I wanted to inspire people. I'm also a therapeutic art life coach, and flowers were so healing to me. They were just such a source of my heartbreak healing, my happiness. I would make little hand-tied bouquets and I would go pass them out to the neighbors. And after losing 30 years of a business, I was a hairdresser, I then decided I have to do something with flowers. So I started off with doing workshops. I love my workshops, but I'm definitely an educator at heart, and I was like, I need to do something else. So I wanted to create a YouTube channel for y'all and just teach you all my tips, my ideas, my tricks of the trade, because I've been I went into the deep end learning everything I could about flowers. So all these flowers today are from my cut garden that I've been growing over the last 2 years. There was a beautiful movie that I saw on Prime, Amazon Prime, called Dare to be Wild. And Mary Reynolds was the first woman and the youngest woman, I think she was like 27, to win the Chelsea Flower Show in London. And she was kind of my inspiration to keep my flower garden going, to grow wild flowers. And I'm here to encourage you all to grow some flowers. You don't need a big space. You can just start it in some pots. And I used this source because I tried to do some from seed and it was a disaster. And I found this company called Plant Gem, and I ordered some flowers that I loved, and they came already kind of like baby plants, and I planted them and they have taken off. So anyway, that was my inspiration for today, was Mary Reynolds' Dare to be Wild on Amazon Prime. So I encourage all of you that love flowers to just really try to grow some yourself and to practice flower arranging, and you can give them away as gifts. It is so much fun. So today I picked out this beautiful little vessel. It's a little pitcher, a little water pitcher. And I get my vessels from everywhere. I shop, of course, at Michael's and Home Goods and garden centers and Amazon, and I even asked neighbors, and I have had neighbors just bring me over boxes of vases and vessels. So anyway, today when I saw this one, I thought this was so perfect for our little garden inspired bushy rose bouquet today. I'm not going to grid this. It's a pretty small opening. I'm not going to tape it off. I'm not going to use chicken wire. You know how I feel about floral foam, although I do have to use it sometimes. And I'm just going to really fill it out with a lot of greens today, and start with a lot of garden greens that I cut. I'm not sure of all their names, so if you want to comment below, I can list, but I have something like this, and I cut off a branch of it. It has a couple yellow blooms. And remember, you're going to want to strip all your flowers from any kind of foliage and leaves that go into the water. So I might save this because I think it might be a really nice center piece that's going to go into the vase of this garden inspired bouquet. I have dahlias, I have godetias, I have zinnias, I have snapdragons, I have wild basil, and I have one little sunflower that popped up. I threw some seeds to see what happened, and voila, I got 2 sunflowers. So anyway, I'm going to start with my greens, and I have some beautiful baby jasmine vines. This one's kind of intertwined, so I'm just going to start with that. Looking at my height of my container, remember, your height. You can go about 1 to 1.5 above that. I want some to kind of drape over. I think that's what makes it really pretty in garden style, is some drapery. So this little leaves below here look like they're gonna sit in water, so I'm just gonna strip them. And I'm gonna see, I think I like that. It doesn't go too far out. Hopefully y'all can see this. So again, I'm just gonna start in with putting greenery in first. This one has some beautiful jasmine flowers. Oh, smells delicious. I'm gonna save that for a little bit later. I also cut, I have tons of passion fruit vine, and they flower, they fruit, and I'm gonna stick some of that in. So it is kind of drapey too, so I want it draping over the side. I'm gonna fill in kind of all the way around. There's really no crazy technique to this madness. I just kind of go around the rim, and I kind of start with my, what I call like my first level, my first floor. So, like that. Here's a nice piece of jasmine. That piece is kind of big. Cut it down. And I am going to cut these guys off. Don't be afraid to cut off anything that's going to be below that water line. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I always think of a 5-pointed star. I have some beautiful wild flowering basil I'm going to kind of stick in. I have a whole little bunch of goodies over here. Let's see, I'm going to find another. Here's a nice piece of basil. And that's a little tall. 1, 2. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit. And I think I'm going to take it right off to kind of the side. Another piece of passion fruit vine. So I used the bottom of my vase to see where I want it to go. And everything kind of goes in at an angle. So I kind of got some more sprouting off on this side with this basil and this passion. So let's see what else I have here. So this is the one, I don't know what it's called, but it had those little yellow flowers. And I think that'll be perfect over here, kind of as a diagonal. I have some little fern I want in there. One kind of facing that way. Then I go opposite. If I have 2 pieces, I'll go opposite. Oh, I have a 3rd piece. And since I have some more length over here, I think I'm going to put this guy over here to balance that line out. All right. So I always say when you're doing your greens, this is kind of like my first level. Of course, some are going up into the 2nd level, the 2nd story. And that's fine. And I'm getting limited on my greens. I always say I want it to look like a really pretty plant where I can just be like, this is it, I'm done. So I have my piece of flowering jasmine, 2 little pieces of flowering jasmine left. I think I'm going to hug those in at the end, so I'm going to put those over here. This is regular jasmine that I'm growing out front, so I'm going to put that in and kind of grid it out and have it face my back. In anything, this can end up being the front, so this is going to be a full 360 design. So let's see. Have another vase over here. I think I'm liking this. So nice mix of greens. I have basil, passion fruit, jasmine vine, and whatever this chinkadera is, and this I think I just cussed in Spanish, forgive me. I just found out today was a cuss word. And I have a friend that I said, what's chinkadera? He goes, everything's a chinkadera. So I just called that a cuss word. I have some fern, and I'm really liking the way that looks all the way around. I got some length coming over here, and this one last one I think I'm going to put right in the center. It'll just kind of be right in the middle, and that's kind of your second floor, your penthouse. Oh, I found one more basil. I'll save that to the end too. All right, you guys, so now we're going to go in with our blooms. And the best way to start with your blooms is I always say there's no rules. Learn your rules and then learn to break them. And I learned all the correct rules. You have to design in odds better than evens. I don't really know that that's true. So let's say I had 2 dahlias. I'm going to put one here. Isn't that pretty? These came from my garden. Woo! These are cafe au laits. I'm going to take off these leaves. Cut these little extra stems up because they'll just get caught. If I needed to pull it out, it will get caught and pull it out. So look at how I'm going opposite, and never straight in, kind of pencil it in at an angle. And I have 4 of these puppies, so yes, I'm going to do a square. There's even ants on it because it came from my garden. One over here. That one's a little bit cut a little bit lower, and that's okay. So I'm going to put that down lower. I think I have one more. Yes, I do. Oh, look at that. Oh, beautiful. They're real top heavy. So again, see how I created a square? I'm just gonna keep spinning this around so you can see it. So pretty much where anybody looks on this 360 garden design, I have a beautiful dahlia for them to look at. I also just cut a bud. It kills me to do this because I knew it was gonna be a beautiful, beautiful flower, but I'm just gonna have that kind of peeking out the side here. Maybe I'll wait because it might have to go in a little bit later. So now I have some snapdragons, and snapdragons grow really good here. And I'm in Southern California. I'm in Carlsbad, California. I'm going to strip my greens. This one has a really weird shape. So I'm going to just go in between my dahlias, and I think that'll look so pretty, just kind of draping over. I have another real full one here. And since it's going to sit a little bit higher because it's not as drapey, I think I'm going to go in between these two, coming out to that side. There you go. So I have 2, let's see. Oh, here's another one. There's a couple little buds being done. I just trimmed this off the little plant. So I'm going to go over here and put it in between. So I first made a square, now I made a triangle. So perfect. Even and odd. See, there's really no rules. Look at this Godisha. Godisha. Isn't that gorgeous? So it's kind of one shooting off this way, one shooting that way. I think I'm going to just stick this kind of in the middle to fill it out a little bit in there. Look at that. I'm going to move this out of the way. What else do I have in my little vase of goodies? All right, I have my little sunflower, and I think that'll look good, kind of shooting over this dahlia in between. Now it's yellow, so I have these little flowering, oh my gosh, I totally forgot what plant this came from. I grew it because I love to green in with it. It's a really light, gosh dang it, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, if you want to know, put it in my, in the whatever, credits or whatever. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go opposite of that sunflower in between this snap and this dahlia. Isn't that pretty? Let's see what else I have here. I have 2 beautiful zinnias. They grow awesome and easy. I got these from Plant Gym. And they have a nice little stem, so I'm going to put them kind of high up. 1, 2 in the middle here of the little stage, the penthouse, in between these godishas. There we go. Beautiful. And now I'm just going to look. I kind of have like a hole here. So at this point, I'm just going to kind of fill in and see what I have. I have a couple little white dahlias that have yellow, so I thought they looked pretty with this color combination. Again, I really didn't have a choice of color combination. I just went out to my garden and I cut what was ready to be cut. And I just thought with this vessel, it would be gorgeous. So I cut this. So there's nothing wrong with me kind of sticking one down low. So when you look overhead, you see something kind of, you know, it makes it dimensional. So it's falling kind of deep down in here. I think that's gorgeous. I don't know if you can see it. And I think I have another one. This one's a little bit longer, so I'm going to go right over here next to this sunflower, kind of opposite of where that other went. And it's so funny because sometimes I'll put them in and the stem will shoot out. So make sure your stem's going in the vase. And I'm getting nice and full in here. Again, that opening wasn't really wide. And I'm not just putting everything where it just stares at you in the face. So look how this one's kind of shooting up to the sun. How beautiful is that? All right, let's see. I have a couple more godishas. These are so beautiful. They're long lasting. The leaves go bad kind of quick, so I just trim a lot of the leaves off. And if you watched my other video on flower care, and you know what, I'm so sorry, I left my water running forever, and I'm a freak about saving water, so bad on me, I'm so sorry. But the best way to make your flowers last, people always complain, my flowers never last. And I'm like, it's so simple. I've tried every trick. I've researched. Just change your water daily. You're just gonna put your hands around this, lift it up, dump out that old water, and fill it back up, and put them back in. Bleach is great. One of the best things because it cuts down on bacteria, just a few drops. I have like a spray bottle, so I just do like 1 or 2 sprays. And pennies, aspirin, flower food even has a little bleach in it. So I just change my water daily. It works. Out of everything I've tried, I've done every test. So I noticed I put a godisha over here. This was the one godisha that had 2 stems shooting up. I kind of have a hole here. This is such a pretty bunch. So I think that's going to go right here next to this one side of this godisha. So it's going to bunch up some godishas right there. So I'm also looking for symmetry, I guess. And I like little dancers shooting all around. So I'm going to do that in a little bit with some basil. So, you know, let's say I have something like this. It's a little bit longer. Here's another color, pink and white, of a snapdragon. You guys, I've been studying the language of flowers, and snapdragon isn't that good of a language. Let me look it up for you. Give me a quick little flower break here. I have my book, Florography. It's so great. The flower of language. Back in the Victorian days, they would speak with flowers. And I'm shocked to see some of my favorite flowers. Oh, don't mean too much. So we have a zinnia in here. It's everlasting friendship. So if you were to give somebody some zinnias and you're building a new friendship, perfect. Okay, so snapdragon. Let me go to S. Ooh, sunflower. There's a sunflower in here. False riches. Ooh, who knew? And snapdragon. Presumption. Crazy. Who would have known? There's a whole explanation in here, but I'm not going to read it all for you. So I know dahlias have a good meaning, snapdragons, presumptuous, false riches are sunflower, and basil. Basil is hate. Is that crazy? But ever since I got this book, I'm like, I'm going to design so differently. And I just had to kind of put it aside because I think every flower is a beautiful creation from God, and I just can't go there. But I am going to start making meaningful bouquets for people if they have a certain kind of, ooh, lavender's not good either. Lavender and basil, I think, are the two worst, and hydrangea. I'll do that on another video. But this bouquet has a lot of good meaning, but it has a little hate. It has a little false riches in there, and presumptuous, and yeah, that's it. So anyway, do you see how this guy's just sticking up really far and just kind of looks odd? I mean, yeah, it could be okay, but I'm not going there. I want it to have a little bit of symmetry, and so I want it to just kind of peek out a little bit. And I think I have another one. I'm going to shoot it out this way. So at this point, I'm just filling in holes. I'm grouping a little bit, so that's really pretty. I got a little white dahlia sneaking down there. And I think that's it. I'm pretty full. I'm just going to go in and like hug my vase now. Excuse my dogs barking. Every time I do a YouTube video, they start barking. It's really annoying. I'm going to take some basil. And start just kind of shooting some off to the side for dimension and some funness. It smells delicious. This piece has 2 stems, so I'm gonna go ahead and break off that one stem. I did one on this side. I'm gonna do one on this side. And I do have some lavender. This is such a unique lavender. There's really no purple in here, but I just thought these would be so pretty as what I call little dancers. So I'm just gonna twist that in here. I do want this hanging out a little higher, just draping over. So since I did one over there, I have 3. I'm gonna go this direction. So remember, always shapes are really, our eyes see shapes. So I'm going to create a triangle with this lavender. So I have one here, so I'm going to have one shooting out here for my triangle effect. This bouquet smells so good with the lavender and the basil. All right, I got to wrap this up, so there we go. And I'm going to go around and look at the very bottom of this. So see down here, I don't really have anything shooting out down here. I'm hugging this basil. There we go. The little piece that's dry. So clip that off. And now my flowering jasmine. I'm going to definitely pay attention of my frontal part of this vase, where I want the front to be. I want the handle to also have a, I'm going to take a picture of this. Every bouquet, I do a little photo shoot. So I want to figure out like where the front is. So I think I'm going to have that shooting out. This side's going to be the front by the handle. It's a little long, so I'm going to snip it just a little. Take off those bottom leaves. Any leaves that sit in the water are going to create bacteria, so remember that. So if you can just see, this is just draping over really pretty. I have another little piece, so I'm going to probably go to this side and balance. Go up underneath this dahlia and hug it in around the rim. Remember this little bud guy I have? I'm just gonna spin this around. Always spin your bouquets. So I feel like there's a little hole right here. I'm gonna put this in so it just kind of peeks out, and it just kind of speaks like I'm ready to bloom, right? I'm gonna bloom, I'm ready to bloom, I'm not gonna give up. Oh my gosh. And I just wanna keep shoving more and more in here, but I can't. You gotta just know when to stop. So I have this little guy. I'm gonna spin. I feel like there's a little hole right here, way too high. I want it to sit in low. So there we go. Put them right in there. Voila. I sometimes don't know when to stop. I really don't. I'm like, I gotta keep going. It's so pretty. All right, you guys, there's my little bushy rose garden inspired bouquet. Okay, I lied. I'm gonna put one more Godisha right here because there's a little gap. I have a lot bunched up over here, so I think this will be perfect right in there. Good. There you go. Very easy. All right, you guys, I hope I inspired you to grow some cut flowers, to watch an amazing movie of Mary Reynolds, the youngest woman to win the Chelsea Flower Show. It's so inspirational. Go watch it. Dare to be wild. And I hope you enjoyed this wild garden bouquet. All right, I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. And oh, by the way, don't subscribe and don't like because I'm afraid of growth. All right, just kidding. Bye.